everyone, welcome to another video. In today's video we're going to break down the key concepts for the episode of Friends, which is a supplementary text for those of you who are studying sitcoms for paper 2. So in terms of language, it's clearly very dated, and that's partly because this is the pilot episode, so it was filmed in or aired in 1994. Obviously there's a range of relatable situations and characters, but the interactions between these characters are a little wooden, particularly given that this is the pilot episode. We've got establishing shots, narratives and characters all the way throughout this first episode because it's designed to introduce us to the world of Friends, hopefully so that the series is then picked up and, as we've seen, ran for quite some time. Now in terms of industry, it's produced by Bright, Kaufman and Crane and distributed by Warner Brothers. Today you're able to stream this show via Netflix, but it is also repeated on Comedy Central and also on other television channels such as 4 and E4. It ran from September 1994 to May 2004, so it ran for 10 years and in that time produced 10 series with a total of 236 episodes. We also had a lot of cameos and guest appearances from well-known figures including Robin Williams, Brad Pitt and also from Bruce Willis as well, so there was a lot of celebrity endorsement and use of celebrities within the show as a whole. We just don't see that in the pilot episode. For our primary audience, we're looking at 18 to 30-year-old women, C1 to D, who are mainstreamers. Predominantly going to be women here because this is a sitcom and because it's sort of a sitcom that verges on almost being like a drama almost, then it's more likely to appeal to women here. But it's also going to be primarily aimed at that 18 to 30-year-old audience because of the fact that it's this sort of rite of passage show. Secondary audience, though, are going to be 30 to 45-year-old women who will have perhaps grown up with the show and are watching it on repeat or streaming it through some of those services. Now in terms of representation, all of the characters are stereotyped and exaggerated as well as being relatable. So they have relatable qualities, but they are also fit into a particular character role or trope, which makes them stereotyped and exaggerated. We also get real world locations such as a coffee shop, which add a sense of relatability to the show as a whole and are designed to represent real life as far as possible for the audience so that we can create this greater connection. Now in terms of social context, Friends shows a rite of passage. It shows characters moving out and trying to become more self-sufficient and independent, which is what we would expect of people within that age group anyway, either moving to university or moving out of university and trying to start their lives on their own. At the time, there were great divides between genders in terms of equality, but it was also a time of increasing wealth, and looking back now, a lot of people consider the late 90s and the early 2000s to be a period of sort of security and a sort of simpler time, if you like. Culturally, morals at the time were very traditional still, particularly in certain parts of America, although they were moving to becoming more tolerant, and in terms of representation, there is a great lack of diversity seen in the first episode, but the show does move with the time to become more tolerant as it continues. This sort of links into the historical context of the show. So in the 90s and early 2000s, again, comparatively things were considered to be simpler and better than they are today. But prior to Friends, there were very few television shows that dealt with topics such as mental health or same-sex relationships, which is why, to a certain extent, Friends was very brave for the time in showing things like Ross's wife and her sort of same-sex relationship, and also in terms of the backstory to Phoebe and the sort of things that she experienced, as well as the sort of fact that she's very spiritual, were all relatively new and weren't really seen in previous sitcoms. Politically, during the times that Friends ran, politics in America was moving between the Democrats and Republicans. The politics themselves don't overly affect the show, particularly not the pilot episode, so they're not necessarily something that we need to know a great deal about. Not as many key terms in this one, but hopefully you guys found this useful as a quick video just outlining the basics of the episode. Obviously there are other videos within this playlist for Sitcom, so if you haven't already, maybe have a look at the full episode case study for Friends, the character breakdown for Friends, and having a look at perhaps some of the settings and props that were used in that initial episode. If you haven't already, do please subscribe. I'm desperately trying to get to 1,000 subscribers so that I can use the community tab on YouTube and keep up with you guys more regularly and in a way that you have said would be better for you. Also, you can comment in the comment section below now, so please leave any comments below or any ideas for the videos that you may have, and you can also get in touch with me through social media, through Twitter at media_revision, or through Instagram, which is GCSE Media Revision. And I will see you guys later for another video.